During the 1930s, his 50s, Teilhard de Chardin was at the peak of his career in science, supervising research, writing papers, lecturing, seeing more and more of the earth. Deserts in China, gorges on the Yangtze River, mountains and lakes in the United States, rivers in India, the hills of Myanmar, and in 1938, Indonesia and the island of Java. There he climbed mountains, traveled up rivers, slogged through mud, until he reached the site where fragments of Java man, a relative of Peking man, had been found in 1891. Back in Beijing, Teilhard found the time to write a book that would become his defining work. It was the mature version of Cosmic Life, the essay he had written during the First World War, intended now not just for Christians, but for the entire world. The book's language was highly abstract. Terms like monophyletism, polymerization, scissiparity. Beneath them, however, lay the story of a planet giving rise to spirit. The whole story. The story began with the finest grains in the universe, its original elements. Whatever they were, Teilhard wrote, whatever their name, they must have contained some reserve of consciousness. Over time, those elements formed grains of matter and covered the earth with a layer of stone, a crust over its molten core, the planet's lithosphere. Layers of water and air appeared. A hydrosphere covering most of the Earth's surface, an atmosphere covering all of it. Grains of life emerged, cells. They would multiply, become more complex, and give the Earth another layer, the biosphere, a skin of plant life and animal life. Consciousness was now emerging and turning in our direction. Out of grains of life came grains of thought, reflective thought, creating a being with an inner life, composed not just of cells, but of a self. One self became many, and they covered the earth with design, with reason, worship, inquiry, beauty. Thought covered the earth, a layer of enlightenment that Teilhard called the noosphere, and that many today see as the World Wide Web. For some Martian, he wrote, the primary characteristic of our planet would not be how blue it is with seas or green with forests, but how phosphorescent with thought. And because the Earth was a sphere and not an endless plane, the energy in the noosphere could not dissipate. It could only concentrate, form centers. In the end, there'd be but one center, a single point that Teilhard called Omega. Omega was spirit, supremely conscious and personal, he said. Like a magnet, it was drawing the Earth into its future. Teilhard finished his book in the summer of 1940, just as German armies in Europe were invading France. 25 years before, during the First World War, he had written that evil would die out in the light of Omega. But now, as a second war was beginning, and so soon after the first, he had second thoughts. Evil might disappear, he wrote, but it could also keep on growing. In that case, the noosphere would split in the end, one zone accepting Omega, the other rejecting it. Today, those thoughts seem almost prophetic. The World Wide Web, believed at first to be a source of openness and harmony, of unqualified good, is proving to have its own dark side. At the end of his book, Teilhard added an epilogue for Christians, saying to them what he had said before. Omega was the cosmic Christ, and love was the energy that would take the world through whatever darkness there was to its endpoint. Teilhard called his book The Human Phenomenon. Somehow, he got a copy from Beijing to Rome, seeking permission to publish it. Because of the war, however, Rome's response took 3 years to reach him. In August of 1944, Teilhard received word that permission to publish his book had been denied.